Welcome to the new members to our select board, Larry and Bob. Okay. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
I second it.
All right. I've got one change, John, Layton. Transfer station has a emergency need for a piece of equipment, so, if he's here at public comments, he can do it then, or when he gets here.
Thank you. Got him his iPhone potentially. Also, I received an email from Todd Valentine that he was not gonna be able to make it this evening, but I'm trying to soon.
Okay. John, are you there?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we want to,
You wanna insert first or?
we should the agenda first. But I was gonna say, either at, somebody's gotta feedback.
It's John. I muted him.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll either put it in at, public comments or, and that's what he suggested, so you can get it done with, but, or you can get right after.
okay.
All right, all those in favor of accepting the agenda? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Is anyone here for public comments?
I'm only here to welcome the two new board members. I hope you work successfully together. We had a good board and I think we're gonna have a better one.
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
running, Paul. Thank you for running Larry.
Tom?
I'm just here to try and find some information that I couldn't find at last Tuesday. I keep hearing rumors about two projects I'm looking at, the Fox Dam Bridge and the North Road. I heard rumors, I don't know anything about it and I should have been looking, obviously. But I heard rumors that 1.8 miles came in at over 2.5 million, is that right?
Well, that's the
Well, it
price.
Close enough. I mean, I think it was 2.1 miles and pretty close to that, is it also 2.1?
It's the full 2.2 miles of North Road with the exception
From town
of,
to town?
from town to town, with the exception of the box culvert up by the Barnard end.
Mhm.
Because that's gonna be expensive enough that it's worth considering it a standalone.
Sure,
But it's also all 21 culverts that go under the road, all the ditching, full depth. Dig up, put down dense grade, regrade the road and repave it. So that's why it's came in higher than expected, because it's the whole thing. It's not just
so it's
pavement.
2.1. No, I'm quite really good excavation. Somebody said it's going up 2 feet, is that correct? The height of it is gonna get pushed up 2 feet, or is that a rumor too?
I haven't,
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah,
There might be
okay.
certain areas where the grade is being adjusted between ditching and grading, but certainly not
It's not gonna stick up.
fully raising the
feet,
road 2
yeah.
feet.
So that bid was accepted.
and that
It was the low bid.
For the better material.
Here, Tom, I think I have it.
Has it been contracted?
We're waiting on a signed contract. We've extended the contract.
The board's.
The board accepted the bid and extended the contract. We're waiting on executions of the contract.
And how many, who's doing it?
So that's a done deal. I realize what's gonna be there, but that's way overpriced. Like I say, I know a little bit about excavation. But anyway, like I said, I'm too late. What about the schedule of Foxton? Does anybody know what that schedule is?
Temporary bridge is going, we haven't, we're signing the, we're signing the contract for the, with the state for the temporary bridge. Now that's a bond, is it? Or-
No, so
No bond.
No
the
bond.
Fox Stand Bridge was accepted into the state's town highway bridge program.
Mhm.
So that is a V-Trans project with the
Right.
town having some responsibility for cost share.
Gotcha,
They are working.
mostly state though.
Mostly state, the town will pay 5% of the installation of the temporary bridge, 5% of the overall engineering costs. And somewhere between 5 and 10% of the permanent structure.
Is it moving? Somebody told me it was moving.
So they're gonna install a temporary bridge slightly downstream of the existing, and then the permanent repair should be 2032. I have not seen anything that they're trying to relocate that structure. But it is a possibility. I don't wanna say it's totally outside the realm of possibility.
Mhm.
But I have not seen anything at this point that would indicate they're gonna move the structure permanently. Just that temporary will go downstream.
Whatever happened to the whole, and John would know, the historical, after Irene, they were all. Every iron bridge was historical.
The bridge is
It is still,
rusted really bad.
it is still a historic structure.
It is,
That's
okay.
why, so the permanent repair on that bridge is not slated to take place until 2032. And that is fast, because it'll have to go through not only the engineering, but also all of the historic preservation. Yeah.
So the temporary bridge will only be there 7 years.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay, John?
Yes.
You're on.
So the repair of the excavator, took longer. It should, Wyatt said it'll be done hopefully by this Friday. Which brought us into a second month of the excavator rental. So I'm just requesting 5,600 for the second month of the excavator rental. I haven't heard anything on a different price from Wyatt. He originally quoted me 8 to 10,000. He's a very hard man to get a hold of, so I haven't gotten a confirmation on his final price. But he hasn't said anything, so.
Okay, so what John's looking for is, approval for another month on the rental.
I move that we approve 5,600 for a second month of rental for the excavator at the transfer station.
I'll second the motion.
Made and seconded. Any other discussion?
It only costs 5,600 for a month.
For a month, yeah.
I need that extra. It's pretty cheap.
It might come up
Well,
with-
maybe talk to Wyatt. If you can get the repair done in 3 weeks, there might be a week where the
Maybe.
excavator's around. No.
Sounds good.
Tom just left. He should.
I know.
Yeah.
All those in favor of accepting the motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. John, you got anything else for us?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's it for public comments? All right, the next item on the agenda is select board reorganization, and this is, what we do every year after town meeting. There's a number of things, number of steps that we have to go through. Is this,
I should,
Yeah.
I should have, brought this up when you were asking about approving the agenda, but maybe we should go to the grant. Thing first, since they're all
You
here.
definitely should elect your new chair and vice chair and the clerk, and then
Right off the
proceed with your
bat?
agenda. Yes.
Yeah.
I will, I'm gonna nominate Patrick as the the chair for the next year.
I'll second that.
Second, okay,
I'll nominate Larry Trotter,
for,
chair.
anybody else? Go through them all, or do we do one at a time, or?
One out of 10.
One, yeah, I think you have to do one motion at a time.
All those in favor of accepting Patrick as the chair, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All those in favor of accepting Larry as the chair, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Didn't get a second to the motion on that one.
Haven't done this before. I'm not sure if that was.
All right,
the way we have to
Yeah,
do this,
I
but-
also, I could have
Um,
seconded it.
Okay. Well, I guess if we have to second it, we should do that, so. Hmm. Can you get a second to accept?
Sure,
the
I will second
election of the nominations for chair, and then we voted on, and looking for a vice chair, any nominations for vice chair?
I'll nominate Stuart. No,
It's fine now.
okay, I'll nominate Larry.
I'll second that.
Any others? Okay, all those in favor of Larry as the vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Larry's the vice chair, we need a clerk. Anyone wanna take a turn at being the clerk now?
I was the clerk last year now. I really didn't have to, yeah, I didn't have to do anything.
I'll nominate Nell.
I'll second that.
Any others? All those in favor of accepting Nell as the clerk, say aye.
Aye.
So the ayes have it.
All those opposed.
And I think that lets me turn over this item to Patrick, because
There you go.
you're the new chair.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was saying that Stuart, not you.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I was saying yes for Stuart's congratulations. He did it. He made it. He made it.
You did a good job, sir.
So now you're suggesting that we move, well, we've only got one other item before that, so we'll just go through in order. And Todd is not here, so I think we will keep going. I mean, I'm not sure what the agenda item was for.
Todd spoke to me at town meeting, he's gonna be out on leave of absence for about 2 or 3 months. And he was concerned, that's why he didn't put himself on the ballot for constable, because he thought that there shouldn't be a gap, but
Okay,
if we were comfortable with him not being here, we do have a second constable. And we have a police force, so I thought maybe it's not a big problem for us. And he did get elected as the constable, I believe.
he did? Oh, okay,
You got it right in.
By legends, yep.
okay.
So, I think he was just gonna explain the situation.
Yeah, I know I chatted with him at town meeting. I understand why he's not available for a while. And I'm assuming that's not any kind of issue for you. Okay,
Okay, so we can just
all right.
skip that item.
And I'll just, I saw his email. Victoria, so I'll just reach out to him and let him know.
Thank
We found, so. 350 VT,
Yes, hi.
hello,
So
we had sent over, a cover letter, basically from us, but from the Institute for Energy and the Environment, at Vermont Law School. Last select board meeting, we had asked if we could apply for, an ECBG grant, which is the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant. Sorry, I have to look at the words because it's a lot. On behalf of the town, in order to fund, hopefully receive grant funding in order to pursue a report by an engineering firm on what it would take to install a thermal energy network in town. And that grant application is due Friday, March 21st at 4:30 PM. I don't know if any of you had a chance to look over the cover letter, but we can address any questions that you have, based on the grant.
What I took out of that was that we're pretty much hands off. There's nothing for us to do as far as you just need our approval.
Yeah, we just need your approval to be able to apply because the grant is for municipalities. And so we'll be, the Institute for Energy and the Environment will be doing the legwork, but we just need the town's approval to apply on behalf of South Royalton.
And for the new select board members, congratulations. Also, we are organizing around like getting the town and the high school and the law school to come together for a conversation about what, like, a proposed, like, what a potential thermal energy network in town would look like, and hopefully we're hoping that it would reduce heating costs for people in town, which is our concern. So, yeah, we're in the really early stages. We're just hoping that like everybody will come for a conversation and like learn more, and hopefully people come to learn more about what this possibility is.
And it is open to residents, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
In-
this would just be a
in-
planning grant.
I know, but
Right.
the ultimate goal is to get a energy network that people could actually join if they're close enough.
yes,
Correct.
And it's just be in the village, as I recall,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so, and just to be crystal clear, I see, say you'll be managing the grant, but, just want to be sure that since you are applying on behalf of the town, that there's not any sort of liability issue for us if your grant reporting should fall by the wayside or, not be done in the right way.
Yeah, no, we'll take full responsibility for the reporting. I think the only thing we need, if you approve this at this meeting, which probably maybe be a signature on the grant application, so we have to just figure out who that would be, but we would be, assuming the funding comes through, we would make sure at the Institute, all the reporting was done and all the responsibility would be on us.
Just out of curiosity, where does the funding come from?
That's well, it's federal funding,
Yeah.
and that's why we're not certain it's gonna actually flow down.
Right.
And
That was kind of my
theory,
question, yeah,
deadline, and if it works, we'll be at the top of the list, but it's all
yeah.
up in the air right now.
Are there any requirements? If you sign for the grant, are they asking you to guarantee that you'll do anything?
As far as I know, write the report on the, the feasibility of a geothermal network or system over.
And that's all.
And that's all. And we looked at, another, Hartford had done a similar thing. And so we looked at their report and their budget, and I thought this was just about right in the area, that in terms of the money we would need to get it done right, so.
And you're hiring an engineer, is that this grant, with this grant,
I believe it was.
that's gonna do the work?
Yeah.
It's gonna do the work?
yeah, it's an engineering firm that does the reporting and surveying the land and stuff.
And I think on top of that, like the reason the institute's involved is we'll probably look at the, if there's feasibility from a geology standpoint, I guess we'll look at some of the potential financing and things down the line. And some of the policy and legal things that might go.
Does this include any of the residents in South Royalton as far as surveys or anything like that? People going on their land and.
I don't think so, right? I think if we did, we would take the right steps and make sure they were notified, and if they didn't want us there, no, but I think this is more of a geology exercise over near the main.
That they already have.
Yeah. It's not a lot of money for a study like this, so it's a pretty preliminary report I think they're gonna put out. I don't think they're gonna go out and actually survey where the pipes might
How
go.
much money is involved in
So we're applying for $35,000 for the grant. The lowest that you could apply for is 25 and the highest is 200,000. And we just wanted to kind of pad it a little bit just in case, because things always end up costing more than you think they will.
but he's gonna be looking at material that's already there in front.
Yeah, they won't have to like dig or do anything like that.
And what year are you two? When did you graduate? Are you first year?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be around to maybe see the fruition of this.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I don't plan on going anywhere besides Vermont after, so.
I would hope to keep in the loop as far as, getting updates from you if we approve this. We don't have to come to you and say, hey, what's going on? I don't know how often that would be, but
And if I may, I'm Pete Kraus from Bethel, 350 Vermont will still be here.
Right.
Even if these two individuals would.
Yeah.
And I'm confident we still have a law school contact.
Yeah, and one of the benefits of running it through it's kind of what we do, is do actual real life energy projects with students.
How many years?
Oh, gosh.
It's, yeah, it varies. A thermal energy number, yeah.
Many.
Anywhere
Many.
from like 3 to 10 usually.
This step will take 3 to 10?
No,
Oh,
no. The overall final
so
project.
what's our thoughts on the planning portion? Like, if this, say, the Grant Ferry, gives you your wishes, what's a rough time frame, do you think?
To get the report done.
Yeah,
I mean,
Less than a
that's not the
year.
Exact answer, I think we go to, we put it out to bid.
Okay.
Decide pretty quickly, we bring the town in on that, obviously, since it's in your name, and then. I think HR would be adequate. Oh, yeah, somebody's raising their hand.
oh, Joe has her hand up. Yes, Joe?
Thanks, Patrick. I don't know who's speaking. Could they introduce themselves, please?
Oh yeah, I'm Marley Weist. I live in town and I'm a resident of South Royalton and go to the law school.
What was your last name?
Weist,
Spell that, please.
Wiest.
Joe's our
Thank you.
correspondent for the paper, so she
Yeah,
wants your
so she
name.
wants to be
Thank
sure.
you. Yeah, and next.
Hi, I'm Catherine Lamontagne, last name long and hard to spell, first name also hard to spell, Kathryn Lamontagne. French Canadians, there are French Canadians in the house. And I also live in town, and I'm a first year law student.
Thank you. And finally,
You got Jean's name, right?
yes, got Jean, the other
Okay.
fellow.
I'm,
Over to the left of Catherine.
I'm Kurt, Kirt, Mayland, Mayland.
Thank you.
As of today, I am a brand new resident of South Royalton. I closed on it.
Woo.
Wow,
You
congratulations.
guys know which building it is too, so a little brown cabin on the corner of the green that has a storied history.
Oh, really?
Oh, thank you very much.
It,
I might be hearing from me about that at some point.
Yeah.
You're a tenant, right? Because it's.
No, we're tenant of the railroad.
Tenant of the railroad.
I bought the building and I have a lease from the railroad, which was like the most challenging thing I had to do.
Tell us.
Yeah,
yeah,
Our sidewalk.
yeah. Pretty good friends with them now if you need, if you need a contact.
Yeah.
Do you, Victoria, do you have anything to
Yeah,
add or
so
ask about
I-
this?
Well, for when I I really just wanna make sure that the select board understands that at least from an accounting perspective, a hands-off approach is not appropriate for federal funds. And, you know, the grant application is one thing, but grant receipt, award, and grant terms compliance will be the responsibility of the town because you are signing. And the town is subject to a single audit this fiscal year and next fiscal year, so it's just something to keep in mind, that the town is responsible for complying with the federal grant terms. Not that I don't think these folks are going to do a good job, but you do have
It is
compliance
still,
requirements
yeah.
for those federal funds.
And, you know, not for what it's worth, we do, I mean, I know it's not perfect, but we agree on the record that we will take full responsibility for that reporting on the town's behalf.
And again, I'm
Yeah.
not going to change it, it's not intended to, you
Right, no,
know,
I
be
get
a
it.
slight or a
The
disbelief,
federal
just,
reporting for even small grants can be pretty extensive, but
yeah.
we're used to it.
And we've got a couple $1 million kicking around, between Chelsea Street sidewalk and then all of the
Right.
FEMA damage, so
Right.
just
Yeah, no,
important to
we
keep
get it.
track of.
We won't have to deal with this, I promise.
So, well, and maybe if it comes to that point, then maybe it would be appropriate to have a you know, permanent liaison
Yeah.
for the project.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And-
For a
and once we-
one-on-one, yeah.
If the funding is released and, you know, I'm not sure how the state's planning on doing it, if they're gonna run the RFP. And then award projects and wait till the funding flows down or vice versa, but we'll keep you in the loop if it does look like it's moving forward.
Okay.
More detailed conversation about it.
Any more discussion?
I just appreciate that the law school students are trying to get involved in a local project. I think that's great. And I would like to take advantage of your work and talents, so I
Is
would,
that a
I would
motion?
move, I would make a motion that we accept VLGS offer to look into this grant and apply for this grant.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I do have to say that on April 10th, we don't have any of the flyers out yet, and we can always send them one happening, but there will be like a more educational information about thermal energy network, that we can pass along and want to get people in the town involved in so that they know what might be happening here and would have a voice in that.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, it passes.
Just so they know, who should they come to if they need a signature on, okay.
Okay, it's always.
You need a couple days. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's why she asked the pointed questions, because it's always her. All right, meeting policy. We,
New rules from the state.
well, I think it's something we have to do every year.
Yeah, it is not, new rules from the state. It is your recommended best practice. The select board has adopted one of these every year. Probably as far back as the last 10 years. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you for certain. But they kind of try to just cover all of the basics of select board meetings, meeting operation, you set your regular posting places, your time and date, that sort of thing.
I don't know if we're jumping into this, but
Let's jump.
we've had over the last year. We've had some requests from people for putting postings in other places than our website. We do have an opportunity to use the listserv. So I thought that might be a good alternative to saying social media, because there are problems with using social media for posting locations, but we would keep the town website and the paper postings on the bulletin boards
Mhm.
that we've always had in the paper. But I thought we could add the listserv if that was something we wanted to do.
Where are they posted right now?
There's, up
Posted here.
here at the town office, there's a bulletin board in front of, Grand West Riddle. There's a bulletin board at the town, Railton Academy building. I think that's it.
Library.
No,
No, just those are the three physical,
Three physical posting
and
locations, you're
then-
required to have two.
And then it's also on the town website.
The Herald,
No,
No, we
No.
do not publish the agendas in the Herald.
well, I move that we do.
but this every 2 weeks, you wanna post that in the Herald?
The Herald has a Tuesday deadline. Oftentimes our meetings or our agendas don't come out till Friday and they might get updated.
And it costs money,
And
right?
it costs money. I could see an issue with having it posted in the newspaper because it won't be up to date. But the town website is by far the better place to do it. I mean, in addition to the postings, the paper postings. But I think, do you have any
You just
issue?
want it more out there,
Lister?
so people can know what's
There's a
going
lot
on.
of people that read that paper.
Yeah, no, I know what you're
But we
saying.
can't do anything about the out of date. It will be out of date by the time it comes out.
Yeah, we would have to put it in a week before, and be honest, we don't always know our agenda the week before. Is the issue.
But you do have an idea about what the agenda is.
We know where the meeting's gonna be. That's about all we are sure.
I think,
I think we should publish it in the Herald. I think we should just get it together ahead of time so we can. When do you have to have it into the Herald, have it published?
You have to have it in Tuesday before they publish on Thursday. And by, like I said, by Friday, the agenda could be out of date. We usually don't even have the agenda by Tuesday.
That's okay.
I
sent it back.
I just think it's not a practical.
Yeah, I think he's on his way to.
It's not a practical solution.
do you just think, cause people,
I think
To-
because there are a lot of people that read that paper and look for that
Yeah, he was
information.
he was in contact with the drivers, so I told him. to give him
And they
a call.
don't show up in the 3 places that you've mentioned. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't.
What about trying it and see if it, if it does get out of date or if it doesn't, serve the purpose that's intended for people to be notified on what's going on. Something you could try for a month or 2 or something and see what worked. I don't know. I mean, that's,
Jojo's got a hand up.
This can be a bad spot for me with recognizing.
let me change.
It's okay.
I'll change.
I hate to give up my,
we can scooch down too.
oh, that's okay. I just even think about that.
So,
Thank you, Larry.
I want to tell you that I don't know for sure what the deadline is for paid ads compared to my deadline for stories. So that's
Oh.
something you would need to look into.
Do you,
I
So-
can,
you
I
have
can-
no idea, or you think it,
It might be Monday.
I can
I
sometimes.
don't have any idea.
I
Okay.
can sometimes get a legal notice into the paper first thing Wednesday morning, if I tell them ahead of time that it is coming. Otherwise, they would prefer to have it Tuesday by noon, because that's when they lay out the paper.
Thank you.
Well, we could try Larry's suggestion of trying it out.
what we could, my concern with that would be is if we start it and then stop it, it's gonna cause even more unrest than if we don't start it. So my preference would be either to do it or not to do it.
Well, I think we should just take a vote, decide what we're gonna do.
Is there,
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't think any other town does that the Herald covers. I've never seen a select board agenda.
okay,
I'll counteract that. I mean, it would be great to have something in the paper. I didn't even know what time this started today. You know,
Well, meeting time is one thing. We could easily do that, say. It's in there every week or every second week at 6:30. But to actually have the agenda which says, here's the items that we're gonna discuss, that's the problem I see is that it'll be incomplete.
okay. Well, we have a motion. Do we have a second
What's the motion?
to add the Herald as a posting?
I'll make a second.
Any further discussion?
Well, yeah, do we have to, I mean, can we add? Can we amend that motion to have it be for a trial period of time to see if it's at all, you know,
Of course we can.
worthwhile to do that? Time, Victoria's time to do that every week to keep track of that. And make sure that someone's on top of that and the money that goes to do that on a regular basis for the people who read the paper. Yeah, that's,
So what's your motion?
that we do it for a trial period of time.
That's the amendment.
The amendment, do you have it might be helpful to have a specific,
I know, I'm trying to think. Anybody else think of a time frame on that? Anybody else have a,
Well, I think you
Idea?
could try it for 2 months, because 1 month wouldn't really be
no,
enough to
no, no,
establish.
I was thinking
a pattern.
2 or
Okay.
3 months,
So
3
what-
months.
so what's the motion?
I would make a motion that we amend Bob's motion to have it be for a trial period and reassess after 3 months.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that amendment.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all those in favor?
No,
Aye.
Aye.
Wait, you're not in favor?
Nell, did you vote?
Oh, aye, sure. Of the trial run,
no. I just want
The
to.
amendment.
On
the
the amendment,
amendment.
okay. Any further discussion on the original amendment? Posting in the Herald.
So the amendment carried.
The amendment carries.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Anything further on actually putting it in the paper? No? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
No. Yeah, it would be a nay. I guess.
Nay.
Nay.
Well, even though you named me, I'll say aye. I'll agree. Trial run with my amendment.
Motion carries. Further on the meeting policy.
Mr. Chair, can I suggest that we go through in order so that I
Yeah.
can update the draft and we can sign one?
I think that's an awesome suggestion. I hope that would be the way anyway, but. Anything in section 1, anyone has? Issues, suggestions?
Um, 7 PM meetings,
Where are you?
I'm at number 3.
Right,
Meeting.
Three.
section 1, friend,
That's
Section 1,
section 1. Oh,
first page, organization.
Yeah.
Section 1.
section 1.
I'm actually on, oh, okay, sorry.
All right. And we'll take, I will take silences. Let's move along. Section 2, agendas.
Do we wanna verify anything that's highlighted, or is
I
that
think we need
why
to.
it's there? I believe that should be the clerk, I mean, not the minister, the administrator. You agree?
Yeah, that's how we do it now.
Okay.
So that would be in There's first two yellow ones, Victoria.
So we have a requirement that we have to be, posted 24 hours. But. Sorry, the requirement is we have to be, the agenda has to be posted 24 hours prior to it. Oh, that's a special meeting.
Let's
I'm
stay,
looking backwards, trying to figure out what what's a practical, regular notice for being considered to be on the agenda.
additional,
I need 8 days ahead of a select board meeting.
8 days.
If you
Okay.
would like the notice to be published in the paper as a legal warning, that becomes your legal agenda.
Yep.
So
8
any
days.
items for the agenda have to be in place 8 days before the meeting.
So
Thank you.
at least 8 days.
Yes.
So, can we,
On the agenda, is there gonna be anything like new business?
There's generally another business. And when we discuss when we approve the agenda, if that would be the opportunity if you wanted to add something.
Well, and typically I would send the board an email at least 2 days before the Friday before the meeting that says, you know, if you have items for the agenda, send them to me so that they can be put on the agenda.
so now. we'll
Which
use
will
that.
now
Yeah,
come at least. So this Friday, I'll send you an email that says by Monday morning, if you have items for the agenda the following
know, I
week,
just
I
doesn't-
need them.
It doesn't seem realistic, and because we jumped around on that vote, now we're going back into talking about the real details of it. I don't know, I'm regretting that happened. Because because Victoria's saying 8, so we need 8 days,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem sensible, right?
Well, she did say it.
After we had,
Well, that's what you need.
Discuss, yeah,
I mean, it
I
is it's also gotta be mailed and, you're gonna have people say they didn't get the mail or they didn't get the paper that week.
Well, when we get to the posting part, now, if you still have something you want to make a motion on, then that would be the time.
Okay, so we're at 8 days. For both. And for special meetings?
Special meetings, you're not gonna make. the
We're not
newspaper
gonna make the
anyway.
newspaper anyway, so.
Unless you happened to need to call a special meeting. On a Monday morning, you knew that you needed a special meeting and you could schedule it on Friday, you're not making the newspaper.
Frankly, I don't foresee jumping through that many hoops for a special meeting. To be perfectly honest,
So it's 48 hours?
you've been doing 48 hours, right?
It's a 24-hour required warning on a special meeting, so
But
yes,
we have been
usually 48.
doing 48. No, do we want to stay with 48?
Sounds reasonable to me.
At least 2 places,
Academy.
we'll list the same 3 places,
Chelsea Street.
unless somebody has other, my suggestion is we continue to go through this. If there are things we want to change, we're going to do this as a whole. And then when we are set with its form, we will pass it as one piece.
Okay, so I think we need to add the listserv, in addition to the posting on realtorvermont.gov. It's in paragraph 2, under section 2, paragraph 2.
You've got the same 3 physical places, right?
I
Cool.
did input the same three physical places, the
Thank
town
you.
office, the academy building, and the Chelsea Street Bowl.
Thank you. Anything else in agendas? No, anything else in agendas? Okay, meetings, section 3.
I say we keep it at 6:30.
And that's the only thing, seven seems
And
late.
it's the second and fourth, third Tuesday, not first and third.
Yep.
It's the first and what?
The second and fourth,
On the second and fourth.
and locations will be the same for the special meeting.
Sure.
Can I bother you guys for a second?
Sure.
Are you allowing public comment again tonight, or?
Is it on
I
a,
missed it. You guys.
yeah, is it on a specific agenda item?
It is a specific, problem that I would just want to bring to your guys' attention, you know, about the North Road project bond. So if it's okay, I'll keep going with it, but I don't want.
Well, we
Yeah,
can't,
attorney.
we can't do it right this second because we're smack in the middle of something else,
Yeah.
but I will give you a chance to speak. Okay,
Appreciate it.
yep.
The time, 6:30?
6:30, yep. Any other notes, issues, mentions for section 3 meetings? Section 4, motions and voting. I don't think we need to have me recognize someone to make a motion. If you've got one, you can make it.
You want to require a second? Under section
I-
4, number 4.
I see that.
Yes,
I just noticed everybody flipped the page, sorry.
I know. Well, I was just going to that. I was just going to that page, so you're okay. Does anyone have strong feelings about requiring a second?
Yes. You need a second, yeah,
Okay,
I think.
that's good enough for me now. Anybody else?
I agree.
Well,
Okay,
agree.
you're talking about a second for a motion or for
to,
discussion?
to proceed with discussion and or action, if any. So yeah, it's requiring a second.
Fine, I think a motion requires a second, but I don't think a discussion requires a second.
Yes,
Well,
it does.
they're lumping discussion in with action, so. Fine, just,
Well, the paragraph 5 says motion, but paragraph 4 is talking about discussion.
Paragraph 4, requires to proceed with discussion and or action, which would be voting.
Mhm.
And then the maker of the motions are going to speak first is what 5 is about. Which, that's why the second is highlighted,
Okay,
because you would
thank
need it.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, so it does need a motion, and we will include seconded. Well, motions must be phrased in the affirmative. I think we've blown past that one before. Um. I'm not in favor of the optional 14. I don't know how anyone else feels. Anyone have strong feelings about motions to end or limit debate?
Yeah, I don't think we should limit debate.
Anyone else have
Unless you
thoughts?
wanna put a time limit on it, sometimes the debates can stretch right out for quite a while.
Yeah.
Maybe wanna put a time limit, 10 minutes or something.
Well, I also think we've been pretty good about once it's been pretty much beaten to death, we move to vote. And if someone has the same thing to say over, they don't
So
get to
be it.
say it over.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a collaborative.
Yeah, okay, I'm
ending of
fine, I'm
debate.
fine.
So,
Trying to participate in the discussion here.
yeah. I think we're requiring seconds on 19. We're going to continue to require seconds. Anything else in section 4? Motions and voting. All right. Section 5, public participation.
Um. I. I wonder if having public comments at the beginning is not the best place to have them, because topics come up that people want to respond to, but they're not technically not allowed, but we always seem to let them. I would think if an item is on the agenda, you can delay the discussion for that item, but.
So you're talking about number 6?
Number 6, yeah.
But on the other side of that coin, when you have the discussion on the public comments first, you got people that come and wanna have what they say, and then quite oftentimes, like this gentleman, he's having to wait, till halfway, 2/3 of the way to the meeting. But I understand your thought,
Yeah.
of let him have some other ideas or what is
Yeah.
being said, then he may like to have discussion on that, but.
This one is talking specifically about each agenda item. So it'd be like, we talk about it and looking for.
Okay, all right,
input on
all right,
it.
okay,
Not general.
Not
public.
general,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So I think N works because, frankly, our our want has been to let people talk during the discussion as well.
It's not highlighted, but it looks like by vote is
Oh, yeah.
optional there too. I think that should be majority.
I would absolutely agree with you. Anybody else?
In
It's-
the middle of that first sentence, it says there may be a number of minutes
Oh,
afforded for open public comment. Do you want 5? What's your fancy on an agenda item?
3 might be too short, but maybe not more than 5.
yeah, but is that all public comment or?
At the end of each agenda item, but before any action is
Yeah,
taken.
there may be, okay, yep. I wouldn't want it to be any more than 5, because I think, as I said, we normally allow people to speak throughout the item, so. 5 seem reasonable? Yeah. Okay.
What number we talked about here?
Number 6, right, in the middle there, it's not highlighted, it's just bracketed, it says number.
And then on number 7, it has this same thing. Well, it's not the same thing. It says number, but
Yeah.
and also 5.
I'm willing to go with 5, if 5 seems. Yeah. 5 good, Bob?
Well, that's without the, without the,
Without the consent, yeah,
I think that.
oh, yeah. Well, it's, if they can't speak longer than that, that's the max they can speak
But they can
without
speak.
asking to speak longer. They can still speak. Yeah, I know, it's,
There might be a
it's,
situation. in
it's
which
awkward,
that-
it's awkward phrasing. It's saying nobody may speak any longer than that without the presiding officer saying it's okay to speak longer than that, not just to speak.
Which makes sense, because there might be a circumstance that would, I think, maybe.
We've been in that position where we've limited it.
Okay.
The word number,
We're trying to wrap up number 5
number 5. number
before we head to
17.
number, okay?
This looks like it needs town attorney.
If we're going to try to limit that, yes. Do you see a problem with people recording?
No, don't.
Okay, then,
We have a recording available as well.
right, so then. I don't think we need to be concerned with the optional. Okay. 6, order. Anybody care about signs or posters inside the meeting room?
Well, unless they're unless they're for, unless they're part of the,
I mean, if they're,
part of a presentation. Maps
mhm,
often are brought in to show you areas that are
Yep.
in question.
so you're saying you'd be in favor of no signs or posters?
No, I'm not saying no signs, I'm saying yes signs or posters are permitted with exception. Or with, as
Think-
appropriate.
There's a difference between a sign and
Sign
a
and poster
poster
and-
or
And,
an informational
visual aid.
presentation.
There.
Yes,
yeah, I think this is speaking to people showing up with
Yeah, okay, well then,
stewards of,
yeah, we don't want those. No, I'm just saying that, you seem to know that that's what they're saying, but I'm not sure I do.
okay. Well,
It looks like all signs are posters to me.
well, it's optional, so we can just strike it all together. I can't remember when signs or posters had been an issue.
I don't think they are.
take it up.
Take it out. Yes,
Definitely don't work well with the order section of this and reading all the rules.
yeah, they're always open to interpretation. I question the need for number 9.
Yes, Mr. Chair, what's
No,
Yeah.
would be, yeah. I'm not sure we need that level of formality. Any other thoughts?
I concur.
You concur, Mr. Chair.
We don't, yes.
Sorry, can you, say, I've deleted
Dick?
some items, so my numbers
Oh.
don't match yours anymore.
So members of the body should be addressed by their official title, e.g. select person, commissioner, committee member, et cetera, followed by the last name. It's the next to last one.
I see it.
It is a should, not a must.
It is a should not shall, but yeah, even that's a little.
Do you want to modify that language to indicate some level of respectful communication?
Yeah, I think respectful communications handled pretty well.
And number 10.
So strike that.
Strike that in its entirety. Thank
Got
you.
it.
Right, number 9.
Correct. We'll move on to 7, meeting minutes. Okay. I'm assuming we want to continue to have the minutes approved by a majority of the total membership of the body. Do we?
Well, now they're posted on the website. We don't really read the minutes at the meeting,
Well, that's true. We don't approve those. do we?
so.
You
all
do
we're-
approve them.
We do approve them. Yeah,
But it's kind of,
You're not required to.
it's not really a valuable exercise.
since it's after the fact anyway. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you could correct them. It gives you an opportunity to correct them. But you're not really doing it.
I think we should.
Okay,
Okay, so we leave it.
we leave it. 5 and 6 then. Oh, and look. We're at the end. So now we have made, we have made corrections and changes. Victoria has been inserting them as we go.
Do you have a question? Do you want to make an edit to either the time requirements or the required postings section? That if warning the agenda in the Herald is abandoned, there will be a different time frame. Or do you want to leave this as is and amend it 3 months from now, if that changes?
I honestly would like to go back in time and revote on that whole thing.
Well,
But we can't,
the Herald's not in. there.
Actually, you
can I?
You,
I mean, just in going through this whole process, I don't like it.
because I did say we're going to approve these as a whole, so, the Herald requirement was inserted. It's a separate motion. But I'm going to consider it now part of the body of this document. If you would like to suggest going back and changing that, we can discuss it, and if need be, vote on it.
I would like to discuss one aspect of it.
Okay,
Could we change the agenda posting in the Herald to be a meeting notice instead of an agenda posting? The when and the where and the of the select board meeting, so it'll tell you where the meeting is and when it happens. But because of problems getting the agenda out in time, I'd see it, I'd be an issue getting the content of the agenda in the Herald.
how do you feel about?
I think we post it, and the thing is, if it doesn't include all of the agenda items, so what? But at least we post the ones that we're gonna know, we put them in there.
Well, the open meeting law specifically states you shouldn't post agendas that
Yeah,
are
but
frivolous or.
Yeah.
They have a different word.
The
no
agenda-
binding
The
action.
agenda is a legal document once it is posted. You're strongly discouraged from making amendments to it at the beginning of a meeting. Because the idea is that the public is fully informed of the action and items that the board intends to act on.
Yeah.
So once that agenda is posted, I mean, I won't even pull them back. If I post it on a Friday and someone calls on a Saturday and says, hey, I need. The agenda is posted, and once it's posted, only the select board can amend it by motion at the start of the meeting.
And in number 4, and in agendas, number 4, no binding action can be taken on matters not appearing on the agenda. So that's why after reading this agenda thing more, that's why I would like to go back.
So
there.
anything that's not posted in the Herald, we can't vote on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that would just bog us down so much. So
Delete that item. You could delete it.
no binding action, but as Victoria says,
Hang on.
I'm looking for the rule here.
I thought I had shut off.
The rule.
We're doing the
Thrown
business-
out.
We're doing the business of the town. And there's always gonna be business that's gonna come up at the last minute. You're gonna have to deal with it. If you don't deal with it, it causes problems for the people in the town. So you've gotta deal with it when it comes up. And you may not know about it when you do the agenda, but doesn't mean you can't deal with it.
Well, actually, these procedures would say that we can't
Well, you
make a
delete,
binding action.
if you've got one that says that, delete it.
But the reason that those restrictions are in there is because of Vermont's open meeting laws.
Yeah, but we're amending it right now.
We're not amending the open meeting law. We're amending the procedures that we follow. And the open meeting law is,
Oh, no, I'm not saying that we should delete the open meeting.
well,
you
you're saying
certainly
we shouldn't
can-
follow it. And, that's,
Well, if you're doing it in public, everybody knows about it. If you're doing it behind the scenes, that's another mistake.
What do you got, Larry?
I was thinking, basically, the Herald reporter reports what goes on at the meetings and usually puts it in the next week. And if some things come up in that meeting that people are interested in being more knowledge or would like to have more information that might affect them, then by putting in the, every other week, putting that in the paper when the meetings were, if they were interested to know when the meetings are. So many people read it in the paper, then they kind of relax on when they need to come, but if it's in the next week's paper, on Thursday, that'll remind them to be sure to come to the meeting next Tuesday, and that way you're not messing with the agenda about it being changed or not, but you're kind of letting the people know if there's some issues that came up, that was in the Herald the week before, they'd like to have it looked at or talked about, then we would know more about coming, my opinion.
So are you suggesting your, like Stuart's suggestion of putting the notice in the
Yes,
paper
put the
and not,
notice in the
but
paper, not the agenda.
and not the agenda?
And that way, to get it out there, so people know when the meetings are, because many people don't really know unless they're directly involved in the town business. They don't really know, and it could be the first and fourth, or it could be the second and third or something, you know, they just don't know. But in there, every other week might give them a chance.
But that's all fine and good, but.
No, but he's agreeing,
those-
he's agreeing. with
I
you.
know,
Okay.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, that those meeting times are posted in the town report, they are posted on the town website, and people still don't know when the meetings are. So, yes, we can put it in the paper too, but I don't think it's gonna help having an informed public to, it's not gonna change any. But yeah, that would, no, we can try it.
So how can we go backwards? Do I need to make a motion?
I think out of respect for the fact that we acted on Bob's motion earlier before I started suggesting we do this to the body, we're coming back to the same point. I think I would entertain a motion on that. Yeah, it's something you would like to move? No.
I move that we readdress the section of where we post agendas.
Okay, what's your suggestion? Have a second.
I second
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have discussion before you vote.
Well, we're gonna have discussion now, too.
I know, but before you vote is when you're supposed to have discussion.
Do you have something you
think
want to
if we-
discuss, Stuart?
If we accepted the rules that we've edited just recently, it would take care of the issue, because if they supersede the previous motion. The section you want to correct within the rules, we just are, we accepting.
Fine, let's discuss this. Now, what do you think we should do? If I'm hearing you, you wanna not publish the agenda in the Herald.
in there.
All right.
Yeah.
Stuart has suggested, and
list.
Larry seems to be, like the idea of posting the notice, but not the agenda. I'm going to suggest that we make those changes, and then we'll have to make changes in the posting time. That we post the agenda, post the notice, but not the agenda. What do people think?
Now, would that be just for the Herald, or would that be all three?
No,
postal
just
places?
for the Herald,
Okay,
because
I'm fine.
because the agendas are
Yep,
posted.
no,
right.
that's fine.
Okay. So that's good with you?
Yep.
Stuart?
That sounds fine.
No?
I think I'm following what's happening.
Well, yeah, what I'm trying to say is what I think you were trying to say.
Okay, yes.
Bob, I'm
Yeah.
guessing you still feel
Right.
otherwise.
I feel it should be published.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have a clear consensus on what we want in the policy. So we're going to revert it. we'll make the change to the posting. The Herald will be only the notice
Notice of the meeting,
of the meeting.
got it.
And so that brings us to the 8 days before a meeting in order to get a change in the agenda, right?
We're gonna change.
We're gonna change that back. What are we using now, Victoria, for that time frame?
Or
4 days?
ideally, you would want it to say something like 10 a.m. on the Friday preceding the meeting, so that you have a hard,
A hard
like,
stop.
this is when it has to be in by.
Does the Friday before meeting sound fine to everyone
Perfect.
for changes?
Noon on Friday.
Noon
Later
on
than
Friday.
noon.
Larry, noon okay?
Sure.
Well, this thing's gonna be so scribbled by the time you're done. Noon on Friday, Victoria. It is.
I'm pretty sure we're only like this much through the agenda too.
Hey, please don't remind me. Yeah, we're gonna scoot after this, don't worry.
So we have a motion that has been seconded that we not amended at this point.
No, we're all caught up. I'm now entertaining motions to adopt the policy as,
I don't think I think we have to vote down that motion or amend it.
You had a motion on the table to readdress the section about posting agendas. That was seconded.
it was seconded.
Yes.
That's unfortunate. Cannot be allowed to wither on the vine then. Any discussion on that amendment? Hearing none. All those in favor of readdressing this section on agendas, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Nay. Motion doesn't carry. Now, I will take a motion to adopt the policy as in its current form.
I would make a motion that we accept the revised select board rules and procedures as we've edited it.
Second.
Any discussion?
which means it doesn't get published in the Herald.
The agenda will not, the notice will, correct. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No,
Motion carries. All right, insert quick public comment. What do you got?
Quick public comment. Well, I'm Dylan McCullough. I live on the North Road and when I went to the North Road meeting. It was $1.5 million was what we were bonding out for to fix the North Road. Okay, we had 800,000-ish. To put into that $1.5 million bond. That's how I understood it. When I walked in to the meeting for the bid. I met with Pike, I met with all the excavation companies. And then Pike contacted me to use my land that's on the North Road. And I got the final number. It is $1 million over the top of the 1.5 million. I talked to, we all probably know him. He's a fellow select member. I'm not gonna use his name because I don't want to throw him under. He's a select board member in Bethel. He says it's astronomical. It's about $1 million too high. Right now. From the engineering that is being taken place. I understand everybody wants a, luxury car. But if we can't afford the 1.5 and we're putting another $1 million on top of that. Why are we doing the top of the line work? We're putting 2 foot of hard pack. We're doing everybody's driveway because he's got the roads too high. He's going 2 foot on everybody's driveway with hard pack. We're doing under drains on everything. We're doing culverts on everything. Like, I agree that it needs to be done. Something needs to be done, but does the taxpayers know? Because I didn't know, and I'm on the ground floor of this, and I didn't know that it was $1 million over. Over the 1.5 million that was $800,000 was going into. Like, where's this money coming from? Can't-
2.1, not 2.5, just to,
No, it's 2.3. If you want the exact,
that's not the Pike number that we're using.
Okay.
That I'm looking at right here, but
so,
maybe you know something I don't.
so I can just, if you don't mind real quick.
Yeah, that's
pull
fine.
this up.
I mean, I agree. it's like, this is so much
We
money
need
for
to address
2
it.
miles.
Okay,
It's
yes,
crazy.
sorry, 2.3 was Northwoods,
That's right, we didn't accept that.
2.154181.
What is it?
2,000,000. 2,100,050 or $154,181. Being an excavation myself. Everything is way overpriced. The whole end of it. The engineering end of everything is out of whack. Like, and a question for you guys, and I don't know. How does the engineer get paid? Is the engineer based off from money on the end? Or is it a set number in the beginning? How do we get our engineers?
You're not on here. You didn't bid.
No,
I didn't bid because of the bonding issues. I bid through Pike. So I'm actually working on the North Road through Pike.
All 5 bids are over $2 million, so I don't see your point of how it.
With the engineering plans that you guys have, yes.
All.
Everyone,
be out of
it
whack.
wouldn't matter if you got people from across the country with those engineering numbers. The way the engineer designed that road, your prices are gonna be 2 million. I'm not arguing that. But what I'm telling you is the engineering on that road is not up to par. It is the Cadillac of all roads. We don't have the money to put into that road, period. Never mind have the Cadillac version of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in construction a long time. I'm not that old, but I've been in construction. I've done flood work, I've done road work. This is the Cadillac of Cadillacs. We are getting matted the whole way. Why? Why is it matted from Barnard to Bethel? Why is that? Why are we getting 2 foot of dense grade? There's 17,300 tons of dense grade. I did all of Johnson Hill with 2,800 yards of gravel.
I think these questions are more for an engineer than for.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Where did the engineer come from? How does he get paid in the end? Like, if his numbers come up here and he's getting paid off from the numbers, of course it's gonna be 2.1 million.
No, the
The
engineer
town-
gets,
RFP for
Okay.
engineering, and the engineer has a contract for his work.
I understand, but what,
That
how?
it is unrelated,
So
their
is it a
engineer has a separate
set price?
contract for his
Set
work,
price?
set price.
set price.
Wait, when it comes.
The engineer was engaged
Okay.
a year ago, almost 18 months ago.
Do we vet engineers? Cause I've had a couple run-ins with this guy with septics and other things, and everything that he does is not. I don't wanna say it's not right, cause the plans that you have are right. Like, that road will be a great road. But I think it just needs to be readdressed, and I think the public needs to know that how much it is end up gonna cost. You need to put it back out, cause me on the ground floor didn't know. So I think everybody in the town needs to know, it's 1.5 million, we had a hard time getting that, and now it's $1 million over that.
I'm going to suggest if you want to talk about this in detail, you get on the agenda for the next meeting.
I would love to do that, how?
Contact Victoria.
Okay.
Okay,
But I have a question.
sure.
Have we signed the contract? The town signed the
We
contract?
accepted the bid,
But that doesn't,
and the bid is, she's got the numbers here, they're all within the same range. I mean, it's not, we took the lowest one as far as.
I think Dylan's
What?
saying it's the
It's going to be.
engineering.
I get that, but
Chris.
we're only, he's questioning it too little too late. I mean,
It's not.
We've
too
already
late.
accepted
It's
the bid.
$1 million. The guy from Pike, and I don't wanna use his name again, but the guy from Pike. Met me at my place and said, this is $1 million too high. If it was on my table, I would throw it out and turn the road up. That's what he told me.
Okay. Again. If we want to discuss this,
I
Get it
think it should go back up for discussion.
well, get on the agenda for next week and we can have or next time, and we can have a lengthier discussion about it.
Yeah, and Tom Walls was here too, just to let you know, so.
Yeah, I just hope we don't run out of time and cost the
I wanna ask
taxpayers.
you a question, if the town passed a bond for, 1.5 million,
Mhm,
it's gonna cost 2.1.
mhm.
Okay. Where's the other money coming from?
From road improvement, our reserve fund.
Reserve
For our
fund.
roads that we.
We're not
constantly-
asking the taxpayers for any more money, any separate money.
That's-
I thought, according to the pre-town meeting, we were told that we had to bond for the full cost of the road.
And then the money that was left over was gonna pay for the bond, it was gonna get put back into the bond. And then that bond was gonna be paid off very early because we had 800,000 of the 1.5 million going back into the bond. This is what we were sold to as taxpayers.
That's right.
I was there.
And I don't know, I've been looking through this budget, I can't find $800,000.
So the board, back in December, when we received the engineering's estimate from the engineer, had a discussion with the lawyers. We are allowed to borrow the $1.5 million. We are allowed to spend the highway improvement reserve and the grant funds toward the project. Because those monies that transfer to the highway improvement reserve is in the highway's general fund budget every year for highway, and the select board has the authority to expend those funds for road repairs. If the board would like to revisit the engineering, you could schedule an appointment with Chris Bump and have him look at it from V-Trans District 4. In my opinion, we've done our due diligence as the board through the project to ensure that the appropriate steps were being taken. But yes, you may speak with whoever you like. You did already sign the $1.5 million in
Yep.
loan and bond agreement, and those are bonds, not a loan. They cannot be paid off early. So I'm not sure who said that a bond could be paid off early. That is not how bonds work. You have the bonds for the full term of the bond.
The money was supposed to go towards that though. So that's why we had to take out the whole 1.5 million, because you had to bond for the whole project, but we were gonna put that money back in. That's what you told me. That's what you told me.
At the time that they published for the bond, and it's right there in the language, it says it's subject to reduction by available funds. That does not mean it must be reduced by available funds if your estimates come in high.
This is not coming in high. This is $1 million over. This is not a chump change.
And I'm asking, where is the $800,000 that we were told was gonna go toward this project?
The town has a highway improvement reserve, which has funds set aside for highway improvement. You don't see it in the town report because that's the general fund, and the highway fund is what gets published in the town report for the budgets.
But you just said that it's going to go, because in order to get to the 2.1 or 2 million. or whatever it
2.1.
is, you were gonna use that money. Are you telling me there's more than $800,000 in there?
I can't tell you off the top of my head what is in the highway improvement reserve. The select board has funds that are set aside for North Road. There's funds that is set aside for the repair of the Broadbrook Bridge abutment. There are funds that are set aside for the town share of the Fox stand within that highway
Victoria,
improvement reserve.
where are the figures?
I'm happy to print a report for you at your request that will show you the balance of the fund. The select board has received reports on the highway improvement reserve regularly as we have discussed the projects and how they are going to be funded.
I honestly think that, we can bring it back up, because I do have to go, but I think that you should send it back out to a vote, because 2.5 million, I think.
It's 2.1, first of all.
Here's
Okay, you're
clean
talking
copy
that
of
realm.
those rules,
It's
and if you could sign this
$200,000
page and pass it around so I can give that one to the
That's like
law
money.
recording.
That the town doesn't have. My taxes are already too high. I live on the North Road and I have to pound my truck up there, and I'm here fighting to shut it down because it's too much money. Okay, I pay $80,000 a year in taxes. Okay, so I'm trying to save my own right now. I got a job. I got work for days up there. Ditching, I got the culverts, I got all the work for pipe. I'm trying to shut this project down because the town crew should be able to do the culverts and the ditching because I have less resources than the town crew. That would save you $600,000 just to have them do that.
And then that's
Carroll
all,
Road,
and then
I mean,
that's all
that's-
they do, Dylan.
That's all I do.
But
Frank's
hey,
gonna-
hey, we have other stuff going on in this town. We don't just have North Road. The town,
I totally understand
I-
that, so grind it up. Grind it up and then package it out in different things to contractors in the town that don't have anything going on.
I think you're right. We should
You
talk
should
about it next
Yes.
week, right?
Yep.
Because,
I think it should be on the agenda and have people come and discuss it because
It will be on the
also on the
agenda.
North Road.
Yeah, and then
Contact
maybe we
Victoria,
can get
get
some
on the
more
agenda.
information
If people wanna come and
for
talk
you.
about it, then we'll come and talk about it then. Okay.
yeah, all right.
Okay,
Okay, thanks, Dylan.
thank you guys.
See ya.
Liaisons to departments and organizations. That was the big one, highway, that was Tim, so there is nobody who holds that liaison right now.
There's so much going on in this meeting that I feel like this really deserves a little bit more time than racing through it. To maybe more discuss some sort of. Especially with the highway being a very big, important. Thing that we're all really interested in. I am interested possibly in. Doing some work with the highway department. I don't know, I don't wanna race into this, liaison
The
thing.
liaison thing,
Yeah, and then,
I'll move we table it. Till next week.
till next meeting.
okay, Victoria, what doesn't like that?
I think you're putting your employees in the town at a significant disadvantage by not at least addressing which select board members are going to deal directly with your in-house departments. Because you do not have a town manager form of government, the select board is the manager. The intent of the liaisons is to give the department heads one person on the select board to contact for immediate needs.
And we're coming into mud season
Correct.
and
So 2 weeks could be the difference.
We just signed a policy that said the board has to make the decisions, not one person.
That is correct. The board makes the decisions as a whole, but for Demi to be able to call one person and say, hey, I need the select board to call a meeting because I need the board to adopt that mud is going on, or hey, I wanna let you know that I had a piece of equipment breakdown, and for then that board member to be able to share that information out to the other board member,
I
it makes
understand
it
that, and that's
more
okay,
manageable.
as long as that board member is not making decisions. The town is run by this 5-member board,
I do not deny that.
okay?
we're talking about.
Are you raising your hand, Larry?
I would volunteer for the highway department, unless Mel wants it.
I've kind of been talking, a little bit to those guys, but I guess if you want to,
Well, I was just thinking if we need to make a motion, get some clarity on which ones tonight, you're not sure, I'd be willing to fill in or whatever it takes to make it work.
I move we table it till next meeting, give us a chance to think about it.
All right, you wanna go on to another parts of this thing here and leave that for a little later, so. Patrick,
Could identify the ones that we know.
But, yeah. But unfortunately, I think highway is a critical one. 2 weeks
Yeah.
could be, 2 weeks could be too long. I mean, in the next 2 weeks, we,
no, I hear you, yeah.
but doesn't Demi come and see Victoria if there's an issue?
not always, no.
It's
Or this is after hours, weekends, that kind of thing?
I mean, Demi will sometimes stop into my office or call me during the day, but generally it's a select board member. It has been the select board member.
Yeah, I
who
know.
liaises
I did it
with
years
her.
ago. Used to see Roger almost daily.
It's fine.
Would you like to circle back to highway after we do some of the others now?
Yeah, let's move forward.
Okay.
Those just.
I have been doing the police department and I would like to keep that assignment. Unless there is some objection,
Let me ask you a question.
I'm ready.
If I have an interest in something, are you saying I can't go talk to the person?
No,
Okay,
no.
that's all I
This
wanna
is,
know.
no, this is just for day-to-day or immediate, like up to speed stuff.
Okay.
Like Loretta has had a personal issue that's been ongoing for a year, and when she gets updates, she immediately lets me know in case it needs to be a broader issue.
You can't authorize him to go buy a new grader, but you can
Right.
talk to him about buying a grader.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or you
Bring
could,
that back to the
or-
board.
or if somebody stops you on the street and says something about a particular road, by all means, you can call up to me and say, hey, this is what I've heard.
I'll look at the road.
I expect my phone to be ringing off the hook mud season. Now, I don't know if any of you do.
Yeah.
but I'm the kind of person that goes and deals with it.
Okay. Buildings and grounds,
That was,
John,
John.
I wouldn't mind trying that.
okay. As as chair, I will take town admin. I think that makes the most sense.
I think I've been
Treasurer?
working with Rita, so I can do treasurer
Okay,
and transfer station.
and transfer station, you're a busy boy. Wastewater. You takers?
Sure.
Yeah, all right, Larry. Town clerk. Were you, when you were, I'm forgetting now, did you do everything in this building when you're, no, okay.
No.
Okay,
I don't know who did town clerk before.
Maybe John too.
anybody? Any volunteers for the town clerk liaison?
I'll do it.
Interest in listers?
Sure.
Thank you, Larry. Constable?
Would that be part of the police?
Yeah, I
department?
guess since police department, I will take that. I had rec committee, but I feel like I'm probably have enough on my plate.
I wouldn't mind rec committee unless somebody else is,
Chomping
really,
at the bit for it.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Planning commission. It was you now, right?
It was you actually, but
Are you guys still on it?
I'm not.
I am. Do you want me to remain there? Does that make sense?
You.
Okay, I guess it's me. Public Safety Committee. Stuart? Trustees of Public Funds.
Who did that? Oh, John probably had that last year.
I'm the trustee of public funds.
Yeah,
And Donna,
he was the liaison.
What does that entail exactly?
manages the town trust funds. Cemetery endowments.
And you just have to be a bit available
We meet
to.
with our investment people. And we release funds when we hear from the cemetery, they say they need $10,000 to do work in Broadbrook Cemetery, whatever. We release the funds.
I don't mind, I can
Okay,
do that.
Volunteer for liaison for Conservation Commission. Awful quiet, Bob.
Yeah,
You have no interest in being a liaison to any committee or commission or anything?
I'm gonna be involved a lot, so wherever the action is, I'll be there. I'll do all the rest of them.
You don't have to do all the rest of them, it's just.
No, I just like, no, I will though.
Well,
I'd be more than happy to be a law school connection.
So you take Conservation Commission then?
Yeah, fire
Sure.
district, the library. And the school, I do the school too.
anybody
We can-
else
we
wants
can-
one of those? Sure. I was VLS, last year. I don't mind,
Would you
I
like-
don't mind switching out. But maybe, I'd switch out to the library.
And
Okay,
the rescue squad's not here.
It's part of the fire district.
part of the fire district.
I'll do
So
the
now,
library, okay, Bob?
Okay.
I'm sorry, so what did you say now?
Library.
Library,
Do fire.
dirt fire, and Bob,
So what do you have me down for?
Conservation Commission, Cemetery Commission. And you wanted the school, you said,
And Vermont Law School.
and the law school, all right. You feel you have enough to do, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, anything you want, Larry, if you want one of
Okay,
those that I
brings us-
grabbed, that's fine, I don't
All
know,
right.
I don't,
So
oh,
this
but you
brings
might
us-
be,
brings
you
us
might be
back to the,
highwayman.
this brings us back to
I-
highway, so what do you wanna do?
I would lean towards the highway, but that's
Yeah.
just me.
All right, can I talk to you about a couple of things that I've been noticing at some point, maybe?
You bet.
Okay.
All right. So then Larry is highway. Oh, good, you get to look at the override permits.
Once.
Well,
You're the-
yeah, yeah, it's okay,
Well,
I don't mind a little help,
that was
I don't mind a little help, Stuart. Warrants,
They're, I reviewed them, they're all collected in order. Approve them. You can get a motion to approve. I say we, I make a motion. to
that's why I was
approve.
looking at you, yeah.
I'm still adjusting to this.
I know, it's a little, especially when I'm sitting right next to you, it gets
Yeah.
even more confusing. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? All right,
Victoria, how do you,
hearing
can
none. Whoop.
I ask a question?
Oh, sure.
How do you handle this, on liaisons? Do you send a letter to each one of the committees or the people?
Well,
Typically, I send the board contact information
and then we.
and
reach
then
out.
the board members will reach out.
Okay, so it's up to us to reach out.
Correct.
Yeah, that's why we had done it. Yeah, she'll let you know who's in charge and then you contact them.
Yep.
All right, all those in favor of approving the warrants, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Approval of the minutes. We'll take a motion,
I will move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye,
All right,
opposed? Motion passes. Overweight permits.
we're coming.
You want me to come back to that, Larry?
Yeah, I got quite a few here.
How about
Yeah.
We, allow Larry to. We approve them, on Larry's.
You want to authorize Larry to? approve the move?
Thank you, Patrick. Authorize Larry.
So Larry, I had a question on the 108.
1,000?
Yeah, they're not on the list. It says 90,000 is the cheat sheet on the inside cover. So I.
108,000 would be. Oh, let's see, I had a cheat sheet I left here years ago.
Well, on the inside cover of the folder, there's a list. It goes up to 90,000. That's it.
Got a special permit, you could, yeah, 90,000. You can go 108. For a special permit. But there's only a couple of them there that do that, it'd be about 6 axles,
Yeah,
to do it.
do like 3 of them, and I was just curious if that was something that had changed or.
Do the truckers, do they come into your office, Victoria?
No,
They apply, how do they apply?
it's a V-Trans standard municipal weight permit that they file with their.
They just tell the towns they're going through?
Correct.
So we had a motion to authorize Larry. Did I hear a second?
A second.
Discussion?
Discussion, you asked Stuart, you got one with 8 axles. And we'll call it crushing with 150,000, you see, that's a crusher. So they have no choice, and so that would be a special permit. But with the axles, if you can do 20,000 per axle. So that's 160. If you can do 20,000 per axle.
I'm glad those are sitting in front of you.
Exactly, I am.
All right, all those in favor of authorizing Larry to sign the overweight permits once he has finished his examination? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Vermont Agency of Transportation.
It's the delightful time of year when we get to file all of our paperwork. The board has prepared in front of them what's called a TA 60 financial report. It should be a cover sheet with the backup potentially. That was hanging out with agendas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the Vermont state statutes require municipalities to spend at least $300 per road mile. And V-Trans asks you to send them annually your financial report. So I always prepare that cover sheet and then send the actual budget as well. Looking for the board to motion. I think Stuart, you might have, there's a sheet that needs a signature from the board to certify the TA 60.
So they require us to spend $300 per mile?
Per road mile.
How'd we do, Victoria?
We were successful. I couldn't tell you the actual dollars per road mile. You significantly exceed your $300. I don't calculate it. Do you have the sheet that says annual financial plan? Does someone have one? Yeah, so everyone needs to sign that annual financial plan for town highways after it's voted. Please. That is the agreement.
Looking at the overweight permit, this is a good time to talk about it. I see each one of them is within limits. And checks are accounting are all with the application, so I would say they're all okay.
You can sign away. I would entertain a motion to approve the annual financial plan. TA 60.
So move. Need a second?
I do need a second.
Second,
Moving second, discussion.
So Rebecca, these figures you come up with from talking to Demi about what they've done? Or is this just?
No, so
these are budgeted.
The TA 60 is the FY 26 budget, which was developed and approved by the select board.
So these figures come from the budget.
Yes, they are budget numbers.
Now, who fills out the reports for Demi? Don't your reports have to be filled out, like? What he does to each road, for instance?
I don't complete any reports on Demi's behalf other than grant reporting.
You're talking about a detailed report of. Like, this is what we did.
Well, it used to be that the road foreman had to keep pretty detailed records about what he was doing and what he was spending on each road.
Yeah,
I just wonder where that's being done now.
The road crew keeps timesheets that sometimes say which road they worked on, but not always, as well as activity and material codes.
Nobody summarizes it.
No, not to my knowledge.
I think
Aside
that
from
would
what
be-
Demi verbally tells the select board he's up to.
State doesn't ask you to do that.
They do not. There are some expectations that the next time there's a FEMA disaster, there are going to be more stringent requirements on more granular detail on how roads are being maintained. But at present, no.
I think it would behoove us to have a conversation about that subject.
I don't disagree.
When I was on the board in the eighties, I'm sure it had to be done.
But can we have the three of us can have a discussion without a special meeting?
No, but I mean, at a meeting, I think we should put it on the agenda,
Okay,
and it might need to have
But certainly,
personnel.
yeah,
we can only have two,
to only have two of
only
you,
have
yeah.
two at a time.
And that might have been a requirement of the board at that time, Bob, and then things change. I mean, that's what I'm realizing, like, you don't know what's going on, and so you're in it, and then you're like, wait, this doesn't seem right, or.
Yeah, Roger used to do that.
We vote on
Wayne
the
Manning
TA
was-
60.
Yeah, I would imagine, makes sense.
Okay, I'd like to get back to the TA 60. We have a motion and a second, before we get too far sidetracked. All those in favor of adopting the TA 60 as in your hands, say aye.
I,
Aye, opposed? Motion passes. Certification of compliance.
It's another
And standards.
annual report to V-Trans that says that the town of Royalton has adopted municipal codes and standards that meet or exceed V-Trans minimum qualifications. The board last updated theirs in July of 2021, and we do meet the V-Trans codes and standards.
Is there a timeline requirement for updating them, like every 5 years?
So there's no timeline requirement on updating them. You'll notice that particular piece of paperwork says references the 2019 minimum standard.
Mhm.
So if V-Trans were to
Oh, I
upgrade
see.
or change their standards, then the board would need to do the same.
But as long as the 2019s are still in place,
Correct.
ours still meet.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. So,
make
Anyone?
a motion to accept the certificate of compliance that the town does, meets the standards of the state.
all right, take a second. Second. Discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? I said aye also. Motion passes.
Contact information.
We all have to sign this.
Yes, please. We don't have to do as part of this meeting, but I do need updated or new contact information, board members, name, residential address, your email address. We'll use your town email address and then a telephone number. Has to go to VLCT and also V-Trans.
You have ours.
I have the existing, I have Larry's, Bob. I think just yours is
Okay.
the one I don't have.
What do you need? My address and,
Your address, I have your telephone number, just your address, I think, and then I'll
Okay.
have your email address.
so I just need to let the board know that I left as a principal, I worked behind the computer a lot of my life.
Mhm.
And for the last part of my life, I've sworn it off. And also, I'm not easy to get on, I don't have a cell phone. But, I realize that you probably have, Victoria, you said, like,
We all,
selectmen,
we all use a
email.
town
Everybody gets
email
a-
address,
We
yeah.
all get a town email, so we'd have, you know,
So what do you use that for?
um. That's how Victoria disseminates information to us, that's how,
We read the bid for North Road, we look at the, you know, whatever
So
emails
you
are coming
email
in.
to us
People contact us.
Frequently and consistently.
information
Yes.
that we
Yeah.
need to make
Pretty-
decisions.
pretty much all the
Yeah,
time,
you know,
yeah.
what's coming, so like the board received back in January when Chris Bump, the V-Trans District Board Coordinator, sent all this packet of information, that goes to the board. Grant opportunities, basically any information that's gonna come up, I send to the board pretty much as soon as it comes in. Rather than doing, where some towns would be like the
Pick it
Friday
up the
before you
phone.
get come pick up your paperwork and spend all
Pick
weekend
up the
reading.
phone and call Bob Gray and say, I have a packet here for you.
I mean, alternatively, I would, they just show up. You know. On a certain day of the week or certain times to pick up a packet, because otherwise everything's coming by email.
Well, I'm gonna have to give you mine, I think, you know. We wanna be a responsible leader of the town, so. I'll give you all that information that you need.
Okay.
Pavement marking letter,
Yes,
also sounds fun.
it is fun. V-Trans paints the center lines on all of the class 2 roadways, and they ask us to send them notification of any roads that we're doing work on. So I'm just looking for the board to give permission that I can notify V-Trans that we have a project pending on North Road. But that otherwise they are free to paint the center lines of Royalton's, class 2 road.
What about the crosswalk, going into
That's
town?
the town's
That's the town,
responsibility.
that's not,
But it's a good time to remember that we have to do that this spring.
I thought one of those was a V-Trans, crosswalk.
V-Trans
The one-
paints the crosswalks on the
On-
state highways.
on 14,
Okay,
but these ones.
the
here
one
in-
right after the bridge going up.
That's us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Victoria, is there another signature page on this? Rules of procedure? Because there's only 2 signature lines.
The second bottom of the,
Okay.
yeah, the lines didn't translate well through the Word document. Apologize.
all right, we're looking for motion for the pavement marking letter.
I'll make the motion to send the pavement parking letter. For the exception of the North Road.
Second,
Discussion,
I'm concerned, I'm still trying to figure the North Road business out. Have you signed a contract with someone to do the job?
Mike has gotten our acceptance of their bid, and they have not returned it to us yet. Right?
Correct.
all right,
So does that letter commit the town to doing the project?
I would think so.
We have,
I think so too.
we
but
had
I-
a room half full of people back in, was it August, when we did the bond? They were very eager to get the town, the North Road back in shape. And all I can see that this process
I
of
live up on the North. Road.
reevaluating it and looking for another engineer was just gonna take another year. And I don't think people are gonna be very happy about that.
I would, I'd like to get through this, if we wanna circle back to the North Road and or other business, then there may be an opportunity there.
Okay.
I'm about to call for a vote on the pavement marking letter.
No,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed,
That was for what we talked about.
motion carries. Approval of financing agreement for the Fox Dam Bridge project.
I have a letter that was sent with e-signature for me. There's another thing that comes through email.
Oh,
And I think it might be easier for me to have the board approve me to sign it, because
You have it.
I have it and got my name on it, and I can return it and give them your information at that point.
And I'm gonna move that we authorize you to sign that agreement.
I'll second it.
Okay, what does it entail?
This is for the temporary bridge.
Yeah, I understand.
They need to bring a crane in and set up a temporary bridge, which we rent by the month. It's gonna cost like $300,000 to place the bridge, and then another $300,000 for abutment work for that temporary bridge.
Of which we're responsible for 5%, is that correct, Victoria?
My understanding.
And that bridge is gonna be in place for the next
7 years.
When Irene went out, we went up in there and I was on the board, gave the use of that bridge as 10 years, so that would have run out in 2021. And they were going to hopefully they would have made a new bridge where the temporary is going, and they wouldn't have had to do a temporary bridge, but see, that just didn't get done. So now they're locked into getting the
Yeah.
temporary and then doing where the original one is. Just a little FYI.
And the cost of the town is,
We're responsible for approximately 5%.
5% of the engineering costs for the permanent project, 5% of the installation costs for the temporary bridge. Rental cost of the temporary bridge on a monthly basis, which I believe is a few $100s.
Yeah,
And then between 5 and 10% of the costs of the permanent bridge.
do we know, we got any idea what that figure is?
no, they
Right
haven't.
now, for projecting out to 2032, V-Trans anticipates it could be as much as $8 million total cost, and then the town would be responsible for 400 to 800,000 of that.
Okay, so 5% of that.
8
is the
million,
town-
yeah.
Town's responsibility.
Yeah.
Between 5 and 10 of the biggest chunk.
So that means that in every budget, we need to put some money in,
No, probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
like a reserve fund.
Yeah. All right, all those in favor of Stuart being authorized to sign the financing agreement for the Fox Dam Bridge, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Vacant offices,
This is really just for the board.
just an FYI. We've got,
There's a vacancy in the office of the lister, and there's a vacancy in the office of the trustee of public funds. Typically you
and
would
we
want
don't
to.
have any sacrificial
advertise the
lands.
vacancy, in the newspaper and that sort of thing. And then at some point, the board would need to make an appointment to fill that vacancy.
Were there any write-ins of any amount on any particular person?
There were write-ins, but they weren't, they had to be like more than 20, I think, and there
There
weren't,
were none more than 20, okay.
I think 8 was one number that stuck out. but-
I've talked to the members of some of the members of the trustee of public funds, and they like.
You did, you said? Yeah.
Like David Barker, is it
Yeah, yeah.
David Barker?
Yeah.
They really,
Donna Mahan and I are trustees of public.
Oh.
Bush had decided not to run again.
And no one ran.
Bush had run and we had David Barker because he understood finance and investments.
that's what I understand. I don't know him very well. I just know who he is. But they were pretty high on him.
Have you mentioned it to David?
Oh, yeah,
Did he seem to have any interest?
yeah.
Okay.
He was in before.
He was one of the,
Oh, okay.
he was one of the
And then
write-ins.
he decided not to run, then Donna ran in his position, but
Okay.
So that's something that we should, contact him and see if he's be willing to run, or we need to advertise it because it's a
think-
unlisted fund.
It's a vacancy in public
Vacancy.
office. I don't know if you're required
don't-
to
I think we
advertise
can-
it or if it's just good
we can-
practice.
Yeah,
It probably wouldn't hurt to advertise it. And then if
Probably
nothing showed up, then you could certainly contact them. You've covered all your bases.
so would we like Victoria to advertise it? For those
For
two
lister and trustee of public funds?
Mhm.
Yes, please.
To make a motion, I'll second it.
positions?
Any discussion? All those in favor of, Stuart being authorized to sign the financing agreement for the Fox Dam Bridge, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Vacant offices,
I'd like to make a motion that Victoria, put a notice of, or advertise for a lister and a trustee of public funds.
I'll second it.
Do we have any?
Discussion?
Are there any candidates for Lister?
I don't know. I mean, I can ask Walter, but I imagine if there was anybody Walter could think of, he would have had them run. I know they have someone in there working with them now. I don't know if that person has any interest in being an actual lister, but I could certainly ask.
Good place to start.
Yeah. All those in favor of having, asking, Victoria to place that ad for us graciously? Say aye.
All right,
Opposed? Motion carries. Follow-up needs, town meeting.
Okay, I had one comment, several comments that the warning, the agenda for town meeting did not include other business. People wanted to know why not, and well, an oversight, but, if we can put a note that next
For
time,
next year,
for next year, that
Note to self.
note to self, note to, yeah, whoever, just so it gets said, because otherwise it'll get forgotten. They thought it should be, they missed the opportunity to bring up other business.
Okay. Is that the only follow-up? Is that it?
Well, maybe just, I guess, since piggybacking on that, maybe we should. Identify a timeline earlier than. Town meeting of when things need to get done and budget, and I'd like to look at the whole year that we have right now.
Things like what?
Sending in the town report to the printer, which printer we're gonna use. The timeliness of that, the editing of the town report so that we can.
You're suggesting we build a little larger buffer into our schedule?
Yeah, I guess so, but, and just to know what's coming and what we need to be aware of and things like that point that, Stuart just brought up.
what kind of time frame do you do on your budget? We used to start about the 1st of October and try to finish up by the first or second week of December, and then you had your budget to.
We kind of started then, didn't we? In October?
I started nudging the board about the budget in August.
Yeah,
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 I think we actually did real work about October. And so,
Mid-December.
yeah, so nudging in August with quicker response might be a not bad idea.
Did you try to do the budget with, during the regular select board meeting, or did you have a special meeting? No, it doesn't work good when you have at the end of a select board meeting.
Well, we didn't, we got to the point where we devoted meetings to it. They
Yeah,
were not.
That's what we used to,
special
every
meetings.
other,
They
we
were
got
not
every
special meetings.
single Tuesday,
Yeah.
every other was budget until we got it completed. Went over each line item.
And we may have taken a little too long in getting to that point, I think.
Well, chairman and experience, maybe we can work together and make it work.
I think I think we felt at the end of it that we would have benefited from more time, so. Certainly when Victoria nudges us this August. We should, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to start making that a priority then. Because finishing earlier certainly isn't gonna hurt.
Makes it easier for when they wanna print the reports that you've got it earlier, because there are other towns that have.
The other
Reports
towns, and
printed.
like this year, there was like a mechanical issue at the
Broke
printer,
down,
and
yeah.
and
And just,
it pushed it right down to the wire, so. We all need to remember we said this in August now. Other business,
When I was reviewing the warrants. I came across, we have several suppliers for fuel. We've got Irving and Evans and Superior Propane and, they all have different prices and Irving has 3.96 as a price for diesel. Evans has 3.55. And I'm wondering if we should take a serious look at consolidating where we get our fuel from. And
Are these going to different town properties?
yes, but I would think if we're gonna buy it, we would get a good rate if we
Yeah.
bought it all from the same place.
Why would you put it out to bid?
Well, that,
Because
we need to look at it.
you make a good point.
We need to look at it and try to figure out what, you know, maybe we have contracts already that, but now would be the time to do it because, like heating oil is usually, they're pretty much done this time of year as far as giving you more, so, I think it's something we should look at as a,
Well, I think
if we
it
can.
makes perfect
I'm
sense.
surprised that you haven't already.
I was gonna say, it never would occur to me that we weren't getting it all
And
from
when-
the
that
same
You use one
provider.
company and send it out to bid yearly or 3 years. Or something like that, you know, to get your best price.
I think we should include the supervisory too, that's.
A lot of the time, the municipality will receive the state contract price on fuel. We use a similar supplier, so like for salt for the highway department.
Uh-huh.
My guess, without specifically looking at those invoices, is that some of the reason for the difference is related to like the acquisition of the transfer station. And we just didn't get everything onto the same umbrella of having.
On the same page because
supplier.
it came up at a different
Yeah,
time.
It would be worth looking at.
Yeah.
I don't mean
I
to do it this week meeting, I just said,
No, no,
Good
it's
suggestion.
No, I think
something
that,
to be put on the agenda for another time or two, maybe in a month. When other things are,
when things calm down.
yeah.
I've been saying that for 5 years.
yeah, let us know when that is. Let us know when that is.
No, we haven't got into shooting matches or any yelling yet, so we're okay.
Give us time. Give us time. Any other business?
Got
Well,
a list of things.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
You wanna go first?
Oh, sure, I don't have a list.
Okay.
I have just random things, I'll just jump out. One thing is we should have a letter soon to send out for requests for the street cleaning and the sidewalk painting. That should go out and lined and have a,
Should go yesterday.
so we can lock them in for a date to do that.
Before
So,
law school graduation.
So I would like maybe on the next agenda, if we could make that happen. But sort of just in general, those types of things, I feel like if I had a clear page in front of me when I first got on to the select board of like, this is what happens in March, this is what we need to do, this, like a pre-planning, look ahead at the schedule of the year. You know, when the road crew does trimming trees, when the road crew does culverts, when those types of things. Have a general knowledge of that. And along those lines, there's one other thing that I'm forgetting that. Oh, I guess also just, I would like to have an agenda. I brought it up last year when I first got on, and I'll just do it again with the new board. I wouldn't mind if we could have a little bit more time on an agenda to discuss things that we were very specifically interested in as individuals, like what we want, what we're trying to accomplish this year, you know, with the year ahead of us. Just to sort of just think about goals, some goal setting, I guess. Thanks.
We don't have any gravel. And mud season right around the corner. And we need to put gravel on the roads. Where are we with the Act 250 permit in the Crawford field?
We have a meeting tomorrow morning.
We can't use that gravel, can we?
Not so far, we haven't been able
It's
to.
not been determined to be the right mix.
Yeah.
It's too fine. It turns into soup on the roads, so.
Well, there's gravel in the area. But we have to make a decision pretty darn quick. Now, mud season's gonna be here. That frost is probably 4 feet down. It's gonna be really deep. And we're gonna have to get gravel on the roads. He's not gonna have time to make a lot of decisions. You're gonna have to think about it in a hurry. I've talked to Mike McCullough about his pit in Bethel, and he has gravel in there. And he'll sell it to us for $10 a yard. That's only one person. But we've gotta have some gravel. And we've gotta have it soon. You can't expect a road crew to go out there and they're gonna get hammered if they're not putting gravel on the roads. I've been through this before. I know how it works.
Well, they put gravel on my road the other day, so. Do we know where that came
They
from?
go down to Lebanon and buy it,
Yeah.
truck it back up here, and that's why the cost of our highway department
Right.
is so high.
When they're traveling an hour to bring fill in, and it's only gonna go, 25 yards. We're spending a lot of money paying people to drive trucks and mileage on our trucks. To go the distance they're going to get the fill that they need to fill the mud holes. And I would say to Larry, when you're talking, we better figure out what we're gonna do. And we're probably gonna need the board to approve. But maybe Larry, a little bit of help,
I'll talk to Demi in the morning.
okay. Now you have a truck at Lucky's,
To get fixed on, to get worked on,
brand new truck,
getting an oil change,
no? You've got a brand new truck up there,
what's going
I
on?
stopped in the Lucky's. And I got hammered, you bought a $300,000 truck. They've got it up there, doesn't have a body on it. And what's going on?
I don't know specifically what truck you're talking about, or.
I'm assuming it's the truck that's on order. That we were not expecting until later this summer or early in the fall. So we ordered I'm gonna say it backwards, but we ordered the bit with the engine in it from Lucky's and the body's coming from somewhere else.
Well, Lucky has a truck sitting in his yard. We owe him $300,000 for the truck. The body was bought from some other company. And it looks like that's a year out. 8 months to a year is what I've heard. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in the process. But to ask Lucky to keep a truck that we bought for $300,000, he's not gonna put the body on it. The truck's going someplace else to have the body put on it. To sit there on $300,000 just doesn't seem right to me.
No,
And I'd like to know, I guess I'd like to know what's going on, who ordered it, must be you as selectmen ordered it.
The board sought quotes, or Demi sought quotes for the replacement vehicle that was scheduled to be replaced. Lucky's put in a bid on the vehicle and the board accepted Lucky's bid for the vehicle on Demi's recommendation, and the bids come in body and chassis with the understanding that we pay Lucky for the vehicle when it's complete.
And we knew there was
Trucks have been
But he's
18
not,
months to
but
2
he's
years
not
out.
responsible for putting the body on it.
you're told that there was 18 months to 2 years that it takes to get a truck. So where it sits is not really what we were worried about.
I don't know, I'm gonna find out about it. But I cannot see sticking a member of this community for $300,000. Because we're
We're
waiting
not
for him.
sticking him for $300,000.
Now he's having to pay interest on the truck at some sort of, interest rate on a $200,000 truck, $100,000 for the body, and what it would be for 4 or 5% interest or something for 6 months or something. The truck came in November, I believe.
Yeah, but Lucky's not putting a body on it, Larry.
No, I understand that part,
Yeah.
and I know what the contract said, but the part of it is the body people, are not holding up to their end of it. It just seems hard to,
So why, I guess I'm asking, why is Lucky being held up too?
well, I think
If
it's
he's
why,
got the truck up there and we've ordered it and it's there, I don't understand why we're not paying for it.
maybe it should pay for just the chassis itself, and the body is another deal, if he can divide it up. What's cost and what is the body cost?
Well, I think it's.
I mean, because the
I'm not
final
in-
check goes to Lucky. Right.
Correct. Because they are.
And he
they
gets,
put
he
in
gets
with
the
it.
whole deal, huh?
Yeah,
Well, you certainly couldn't pay him the whole deal, but you could give him a good faith effort.
And we can't pay for it until it's complete, because otherwise we might get into one of these situations where we pay for something and there's no recourse.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you have a lawyer? You have a town lawyer? Who's your town lawyer?
Oh, that costs money.
We don't,
That's gonna cost you more money than the waiting for the truck.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, yeah. $300.
Well, I'm
an
not
hour.
saying, but it might be worth what you could do to be. Or just have Bob go up and see what Lucky is, what's his thought process? You talk to Lucky himself?
No, I talked
talked to
to Jeff
salesman. See what his thought process is, whether he's in a hurry or he's not, if he wants part of his money, or can he wait?
I'll
I
do
mean,
that.
this is information you could bring back to the board
I'll
to,
do that.
That might be a good
to,
idea.
maybe clarify it and then see if it's an urgency or whether it's,
I just-
not.
I just am not one that likes to see businessmen in town or people in town having to wait for their money. How much money is in the equipment fund? Victoria,
I don't know off the top of my head. I can pull
I
it.
didn't see that in the town report.
It's not in the town report.
Um. North Road. I live up there. Right now, it's full of potholes. And they ought to be filled in. Because somebody is gonna get hurt on a bike or a car. Somebody's gonna get hurt when they hit one of those potholes. I don't know when this project is supposed to start. But it needs some maintenance. I'd like to know what the town crew hours are. And I'd like to know,
Hours in what respect? Like, how much they work per week or?
yeah,
What-
I wanna know. What the people who work for the town, what their hours are. And I guess I have my own opinion about what is happening, but I think. We need to look at that. And I have some things, Loretta, I want to talk to you about.
sure.
So maybe I'll stop by and see you.
Well, I'm curious why we have to micromanage the highway. department.
Oh, and now I'm
We've got-
micromanaging.
We've got a foreman who should be able to manage his crew. If they need to work hours, then, I mean, we don't see. it.
Well, I feel like I feel like it's fair. I think it needs to be addressed because we don't have more and more sitting here, I understand why the board previously came up with the whole idea. And I was on the other side saying, what are you doing? You're crazy, when they started talking about a town manager. But when you have a board who changes year to year and there's no sort of, it's hard to follow the line of the responsibilities that, maybe it does need to be like
The
that.
continuity, you're looking for continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
It used to be that the town. Voted. To hire a road foreman. And then. the selectmen asked that they be able to hire the road foreman. And that way you have supervision over them. Before, if the town didn't like a road foreman, they just elected a new one. So that's all changed now.
But, and this issue has come up before, where we have discussed that having Demi show up on a regular basis instead of as requested is,
Yeah.
is preferable.
I think you should.
Well,
I don't disagree.
I don't think it's just Demi. I think everybody on this list should be here they should have a schedule of, they'll be here on every third month or something. All not the people, but the committees. Cause we don't know what's going on with the rec committee. We haven't heard anything. They don't have minutes. They don't respond to email. So, in my opinion, if they're getting money from us for some reason, they should be here to represent their group.
Agreed.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Seriously, we used to do some of that, yes.
Yeah.
We
Well,
used to meet with the school board too,
Right,
a couple
Yeah.
times a year.
that's right.
And I think that would be a good idea too, bring back a little
And that's why I say like,
interconnectedness.
putting oil in the contract is a good idea. Include the school in it because they buy a lot of oil.
10,000 gallon tank down there.
Yeah, and if the whole town, I mean, if the whole public part of the town is involved in that, we're probably gonna get a better price on our oil. And I say anything that we can do to work with the school, as far as money goes, is beneficial to the community.
well, then let's agree to make.
That's all the.
Well, I said, let's all agree that when we reach out to our respective committees and departments. That we set that expectation and when we come back, once we hash it out, we can go back and tell each other how often, then we can set up a schedule so they're not all showing up.
Right.
On one night and figure out what the rotation will be.
Perfect. I think it's super.
Idea.
All right. Let us do that. Do you reach the end of your list, Bob?
Yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
I'll make that motion. All those in favor signify by standing up.
There you go. You're a man after my heart. Well, I used to say.